Are you on the fence about purchasing the Elgato Stream Deck Neo and want to know more about it? If so, you've come to the right place. I'm going to put the Stream Deck Neo under a magnifying glass and see if it's worth your hard-earned money. So what exactly is an Elgato Stream Deck? The Elgato Stream Deck is basically a set of macro keys that are fully customizable and come with a screen. It is marketed towards content creators, streamers, and anyone who wants to increase their productivity and take control of their apps by using fully customizable macros, shortcuts, and easy to use plugins. Now that we've got the introduction out the way, let's move to the unboxing and see what we get in the box. Okay, the first thing you get when you open the box is the Elgato Stream Deck Neo, and I'm not gonna lie, this white looks absolutely beautiful, and it doesn't feel too bad. I just don't like how the cable is attached to it. Why? Future Jake here, guys. I forgot to mention it does come with the instructions manual, but let's be real, I didn't use it. It's just a waste of paper anyways, right? A real man doesn't need that. Just kidding, I definitely took a look at it, as should you. Now let's continue with the video. Okay, now let's do a quick clicky button test. Now a little bit of ASMR action. You gotta love a little bit of ASMR. Shh. Yeah, love that sound. Now let's talk about the build quality. The plastic, it is plastic. It does feel like plastic, but it's very high quality plastic. And the buttons feel absolutely perfect, not too mushy and not too hard to actuate. Okay, now that we got this baby on, let's take a look at it. Okay, I do love the kickstand. Fine doesn't have it. It's just stuck unless you 3D print your own. But so far, so good. The screen quality looks absolutely beautiful. I'm playing with it right now just to see how quick it is. And it's very quick. It's actually drastically faster than my Ampli game one. Not by much, but it's noticeable. I love how you can set the time and date. That's just nice. That bottom screen right there is beautiful. Okay, guys. Now this is the section before I give you my final thoughts and opinions. And in this section, we're going to take a deep dive into the app and see if it's user-friendly or not. Let's get started. Okay, so this first tab up here is your devices tab. You can add a mobile, virtual, or network device. Then underneath it, you get your profiles. So you can make new profiles or edit your profiles right there. Then you have your notifications. And of course, the one everybody likes to brag about, the one Elgato likes to brag about, the Elgato Marketplace. And I'm not gonna lie, it is definitely worth bragging about. It has tons of plugins, icons, profiles, sounds, music, and screensavers. And when I say tons of plugins, just look at this. The sheer quantity is amazing. I'm sure they have to have hundreds, because this just keeps going. Okay, let me not get distracted. Let's get back into the app. Then over here you have your settings. In your settings, well, preferences, you have your general tab, which is your software version. You can check for updates. Automatically check for updates, and you can have it automatically start when you log in. So it's not my main device, so I'm not going to turn that on. Then you can name your device. You can enable it or disable it from here. Set a screensaver. And with this one, I think it's really cool because you can pick your own picture for the screensaver. If only they had it where you can do that directly with the buttons, but it is what it is. I don't know why this says this. It's obviously plugged in. Then you have your accounts section where you can manage your Elgato accounts. I personally don't have one, and I don't plan on making one. Then you have your profiles. So each profile you can set up where to open up. So let's say I open up File Explorer. It'll automatically switch to profile 1. Or if I want to set profile 2 to Zen, if I open Zen, it'll automatically switch to profile 2. I think you get the point. And of course, you can make it your own default. Then you get your plugins tab where you manage your plugins and see what plugins are installed. So there is one that's installed by Elgato, which is the volume controller. And of course, you have your styles tab where you can change the tile styles. You can put the text on the bottom, the center, the top. You can change the font. You can even change how big it is. Bold, italics, underline it. And you can change the color of the text too. I like that. Now, let's go ahead and get into the actions. So the first action you get is the multi-action. Basically, you press the button and it performs more than one action. It is recommended to put a delay between each action, just so you don't cause a system crash or failure. Then you have a multi-action switch, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can switch between different multi-actions. Then random action. Random action, you put whatever action you want it to do, and it just randomly picks out of all the ones you put in there. And key logic. Key logic triggers actions with the key clicks. So let's say I want to open the app with just one click. I can do that. And if I want to open the website with double click, I can do that. And same thing if I want to close something. Let's say it opens up to the web browser and I want to close it. I'll just hold it down and it'll close it. That's it for the multi-action section. Now let's go to navigation. Navigation, you can make a folder. And in this folder, you can put different hotkeys, shortcuts, or anything you want. You can even put a folder in a folder within a folder. Don't know why you do that, but you can. You can switch your profiles just by a click of a button. You can have it go to the next profile, or you can pick which profile it goes to. You can have it go to the previous page, next page, go to a specific page, and it also has where you can show your page indicator. Then you have your soundboard, where you get the idea. You can play audio and sound bites that you have, and then you can stop it. You can also select the volume, see if it plays overlapping, restart, or a loop stop. Now on the Stream Deck, you get your timer, which I think comes in handy. Let's say you're doing schoolwork or you're working on a project for work, and you tend to do like me and just go all out and lose track of time. Next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. There you can have your timer where it goes off. Now, do I use it? No, I don't. But it's there if you need to. Then you have your brightness. You can control it to go brighter, darker, or you can just skip through these. So maximum, high, medium, low, minimum. Or you can put it to sleep. And you have your toggle virtual Stream Deck. That could be a whole video on its own. If you're interested in that, just let me know. I'll make a video. Then you have your systems tab. And under system, you have your website. So you can select which browser. And then you can put whatever URL you want. Which I think it's pretty cool because when you type it in, you'll see. Of course, whenever I do it, it doesn't want to do it. But usually it would show the website's logo. Yeah, like that, see? Then you have your hotkey switch, which is a hotkey switch. You can switch between two different hotkeys. It's like on and off. Then you have your hotkey, which you can select your own. These are presets. They have an editing one where you can cut, copy, paste, undo, redo, select all, save, print, or do emoji picker. Then you have general, which opens File Explorer, open settings, run dialog, open task manager, snap window to the left, snap window to the right, minimize window, maximize window, minimize all windows except active. Then you can have your screenshots. So you can screenshot the full screen and save it to a file, screenshot the full screen and save it to a clipboard, screenshot the active window, snip/sketch, and then open game bar to screen capture and recording. Then you have this open, and under open, you can have it where it opens a specific folder, or you can have it where it opens a specific file. So let's say the open application shortcut doesn't pick up the application. You can manually put it in yourself. Then of course you have your open application, and that's going to show a long list of all the applications you have installed. And the one thing I like about it that I wish Find had, whenever you open it with that button, you can hold it down and close it with that same button instead of having to use the mouse to close it. Of course, you have a close button. You have it close a specific file or force it to quit. Then you have your text, which can come in handy if you're playing a competitive game and you want to send a message to somebody. Real quick, just tab, click it, and it's in, and you can have it where it automatically sends the message as well. Then you have your multimedia playback button, which I think you get it. It has previous track, play, pause, next track, stop, mute, increase volume, and decrease volume as well. And finally, you get the volume controller, which is supposed to automatically detect the software that has your audio. Then manual software detection, you can select the app. And in the app, you can select stuff. Let's say this. You can have it set the volume to specific, adjust the volume, adjust the step size, my bad, and mute. I'm not using that, so let me delete that. Input device control, you can control your input devices, so like microphones or anything like that. You can have it set the gain, adjust the gain. I don't know what the difference is, but okay. And then mute microphone. Same thing with output device control. It does the exact same thing, just with your speakers. Now let's go to the info bar. Under info bar, you have navigation and system. You can put your page indicator. And they have different styles. Like, it's really nice. Literally so customizable, and I love it. And then you can, under system, you have your digital time, which is what it was before. But you have all these different styles, and I'm really loving it because it's so customizable. I love the customized things. And of course, you have your 12-hour and 24-hour time. I'm a 12-hour guy, but if you're a 24-hour, that's your decision. Overall, I think the Elgato Stream Deck Neo is worth every penny, especially if you're in the market for a mid-tier Stream Deck with user-friendly software that is very easy to learn, and you don't need tons of buttons. There are unlimited pages, but in actuality, you probably only use one. It has tons of plug-and-play plugins, and of course, it wouldn't be a fair review if I said it was perfect. There are a couple downsides and areas I think Elgato can improve on. One being, why is the Type-C cable not removable? If the cable goes out after the 2 years of warranty, the customer is forced to buy a new Stream Deck, rather than just replacing the cable itself. Even the cheaper ones have removable cables. And lastly, this one is a bit of a nitpick, but why? Can't I just import my photos directly instead of having to go to the internet to make a customized button? Or maybe make it where I can take a screenshot and it imports that directly? It is a bit of a nitpick, and I know it can be fixed with a software update. So Elgato, if you're listening, please add that and a removable cable. Other than that, the product isn't perfect. I hope this review helped you make an educated decision. Please comment below if you do plan on getting one or not. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. This has been Jake from Jake's Home Lab. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm signing out. Have a great day.